Adoatv, bringing good things to life. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Tuesday, the last day in the last part 1 month of the last quarter in the year 2021. It's 30 minutes past 6. Hello there, good morning, and welcome to another edition of AM News on Adoatv Television. We're live all across the world on TV and online from digital address GA226 0733. We're also live on digital channel 37 and 38. My name is Na Anyama Collison. Now, top stories this morning. The Electricity Company of Ghana is calling for community watchdogs to protect transformers. Also coming up, Wager Leprosarium and Co. benefited from a kind gesture donation from the St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church. In other news this morning, the minority is calling for a revised policy with regards to the rejection of the 2022 budget. You might want to stay with me because details of these stories and many others comes up in the jiffy. Please be my guest. Hello again. Let's settle for the details now. The Electricity Company of Ghana has called for community watchdogs to help guard transformers as thieves in recent times have been stealing their vital parts. According to the power providing company, some power outages experienced lately in some parts of the country are as a result of theft.
The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, is calling for community watchdogs to help guard transformers as thieves in recent times have been stealing vital parts. Mrs. Sechua Menta, the Regional Public Relations Officer for Tema, explained that Any unscheduled interruption in power supply affects both industrial and domestic customers negatively. In view of this, she said, citizens must all police ECG properties within various communities at all times. She echoed that the Electricity Company of Ghana urgently needs the public to serve as watchdogs to help prevent recalcitrant individuals from causing loss to the company's properties. Again, she urged all to be vigilant at all times and in doubt of personalities around ECG installation should report such suspicious acts to the nearest police station or the nearest ECG office. Mrs. Mensah made this known at the 8th edition of the monthly Stakeholder Engagement and Workshop Appreciation Day. Its consequences, Ms. Mensah said, ECG has been having some challenges of theft and vandalism, especially in the Tema region. She admitted customers were suffering and the work could not be done alone by the company, hence the need for all the public to help protect their properties.
Let's move away from that because joy filled the hearts of many as the St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church Kaneshi donated items to some Bostal homes in the Weja Leposarium. The team was led by Reverend Father Christian Kalichi, parish priest of St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church.
As part of the church's annual program dubbed November to Remember, the church on Saturday 27th November 2021, led by Reverend Father Christian Kalichi, visited the James Camp Prison Bostal home with items ranging from bags of rice, drinks, bottled water, clothes, and many others. On behalf of the unit, DSP Salifo, reception officer, accepted the donation and gave his appreciation remarks.
We organize a yearly program dubbed November to Remember, and as part of the program, which just ended yesterday, we decided to do this presentation to your unit to support your people, the people who you are caring for. And since the Christmas is just around the corner, we are doing this presentation for them to also enjoy the occasion which is just around the corner. So that's why we are here.
Thank you very much. I am DSP Salifo Aduna. I'm the reception officer of the senior and on behalf of my officer in charge and the staff here, also we want to thank you very much for your kindness. And also to assure you that these items will be given to you in that you brought the deposit. And also ask the Almighty Allah to reward you abundantly for what you do. And team, prayer
No, St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church.
St. Joseph
the Worker Anglican Church, yeah.
I want to say thank you very much. And good luck.
Thank you.
Later on, the team visited the Chosen Children's Home at Dakuma to make another donation, which was duly accepted by the senior caretaker.
We are here to make this donation to you as part of the program November to Remember this year 2021. So this is the reason why we are here, to remember these children and to present these items to them, especially as the Christmas is just around the corner, so they will have something small to refresh themselves on this occasion. So this is why we are here.
May God bless you and live celebration upon your life and your family. In Jesus' name.
The final destination for the day was at the Weja Leposarium home, where another donation was made by the church. Master John, the senior prefect of the Leposarium, accepted the items on behalf of the home and gave his remarks.
During that time, I had no professor who knows at all. No, yet, no, next room, or when you can no, what to not very well. But I said, no, 6 months. Now we are okay. Yeah, we are okay. But I said, anyway, and I'm thinking, my lady, oh, they are
Reverend Father Christian Kalichi, who led the team, used the opportunity to thank donors for the items and explain the motive behind the donation.
We have an annual program dubbed November to Remember, a program where we meet, wait upon the Lord every Friday in the month of November. And as part of this program, this year, the Lord has laid it upon our hearts to make donations to needy homes. And this center is one of the homes that we have chosen to make the donation, present items of this nature to needy homes. So this is part of the program November to November that we are organizing this year. Other places we went are part of the places we have chosen to make the donation. The Buster Home, the Weja Leprosarium. Yeah, these are the places that we've chosen to present items like this so that the inmates and those there can also enjoy life as we also do, as we have this program November to Remember this year.
We'd like to say a very big thank you to each and everyone who supported towards this donation to the Leprosarium, Chosen Home, and Buster Home. We are so much grateful, especially to the Grant family for all the items, those who donated in cash and in kind. May God remember you and may God increase you. Whatever you have lost in these times, may God fill it up for you. God bless you all so much. Amen.
Amen. God bless you.
Bless the Prayer Warriors Ministry of the St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church for their kind gesture. Let's do some other stories in Parliament, because the Minority Caucus in Parliament have highlighted 5 issues it wants government to consider in its revised 2022 budget before it gives approval of its support. Among other things, the group wants the withdrawal of the suspension of the Japa royalties deal and the electronic transactions levy, respectively.
The minority in Parliament has outlined 5 issues they would want government to consider in its revised policy documents, i.e. the 2022 budget statement, before throwing their weight behind it. The minority in Parliament is demanding, among other things, a review of the benchmark value for imports, and also suspension of the electronic transactions levy, better known as e-levy, and also the Japa royalties deal. The minority in Parliament is asking from government in its revised policy document to ensure that there would be some sort of relief for individuals who have been affected by the tidal waves in Keta, and also put in place proper measures to address issues relating to tidal waves in Keta and other communities. The minority would want government to also find or include in its revised policy document phase 2 of the Brikusu Coastal Protection Project. Among other things relating to GNPC acquisition of stake for Aka Energy and AGM Petroleum, the minority wants government to reconstruct paragraph 8 to 9.
This was contained in a statement issued on Sunday, November 28, 2021, and signed by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu. This comes after Parliament on Friday, November 26, 2021, rejected the 2022 budget after members of the Majority Caucus staged a walkout following disagreements over a vote on a last-minute request from Finance Minister Ken Ofuriatta to meet leadership of the House on the policy document.
Those in favor of us granting the prayer of the minister for the House to give him the opportunity to engage further with the leaders, say aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, I think the noes have it. if we have a non-member of parliament seated here, I have the power under the orders to call on the marshal to get the person out of the house.
Well, we will keep an eye on this and update you subsequently as Parliament resumes on Tuesday, November 26th, 2021.
While some section of Ghanaians have shared diverse opinion on what they expect members from both minority and majority caucus of Parliament to do over the 2022 budget, which was rejected on Friday, November 26, 2021.
Tax there, who my more so to tax. But Momo tax from the Atos solution. A Dawson, you got to get the big fan one. I don't know about tax there, to my money, the Ucha tax again. I know the business of mine to tax again.
Yeah, me expecting now, they say, don't go to normal sound family. No money tax, and if your mobile money is from my farm, which I no pen am here. Because don't go to nine year or Ghana. And when I scour, I bet me, you been sky, the assess your mind. To me, they are no pen
minority, majority. Omunya Fabia because no more year. Ghana for so far already no man no my Ghanaians is so far papa. The more this aba bema o man ni pa na bremo. Do mu mienu nya o mo man ti asiemra. Na ye hwe wo mo hwe. Na o Fabia tutu. But na be to my English. Na say English for similar situation na say every before to decide o mu nya fanti ase nya bi na o mo nke tutu mama na Ghana force o mu ni mu a o mo gidi akesi nti so mu ni mu a Ghana si so fa papa sisi o mo hwe fa bibia tutu kwa na o ma enyi ma nyina
Bema yeah economy ebeko high if say ejuma no already ejuma no yen to ade business is down say on the cost na ya taxes in beko high bema bi fi akọ high until the best is so much no bugu no mu ye ni fufu na ensa nyama ni emba down fufu no mu beba minister dey say nyama 11 ye wo yi film na enye one sa taxes ibi o wa enye wo yi film so mu yi film na eba all right and o ma tumi aso normal career na so ma yi first one bongo na enhwe se be ya ye o man ye o man ye hu beto e bon enye say ye individual say ye na ye bremo one dey o mo ho one dey any say o mo kwale me dey o mo wo sky da o man ye individual say o man ye na mo ye
section of Ghanaians sharing their opinions with regards to the 2022 budget rejection with the news team. Let's move away from that particular story and go to the health sector because the National Blood Service Ghana, supported by an Act of Parliament Act 2020, is mandated to ensure an effective and coordinated approach to the provision of safe, adequate and efficacious blood and blood products, making it timely, accessible and affordable to our health system. The NBS and a Revolutionary Club of the Accra Rich and Airport, I beg your pardon, has in a collaborative effort commemorated the 21st National Blood Donor Day by honoring selected voluntary unpaid donors across the country with pledges and electronic equipment.
The theme for the 21st National Blood Donor Day celebration 2021 was Save Blood Saves Life, with the slogan Give Blood and Keep the World Beating. Every year on the 29th day of November is set aside to honor, acknowledge and thank all voluntary and paid blood donors for their selfless support and donating blood to save lives of people they do not know across the country. This blood is further processed into blood and blood products to be distributed across hospitals to patients who are in dire need of these life-saving products. This year, the Rotary Clubs of Accra, Accra Ridge and Airport have collaborated with the National Blood Service Ghana to honor unpaid voluntary donors for their life-saving gifts of blood to patients across the regions of Ghana. Rotarian Theo Ajiman, who spoke on behalf of all Rotarians, acknowledged the effort of the voluntary donors and called for support in the processes involved in processing of blood into blood products.
I understand that to maintain an adequate blood supply, approximately 1 to 3% of the population needs to become blood donors. I have also been told that we currently have a big shortfall in collection, and this shortfall is addressed through direct donations, when family members or friends have to donate blood to replace the blood used by patients. The experts will tell you that even these direct donations are inadequate, as the real difficulty lies with the processing of that blood into a safe product, a process which costs an estimated $45 to produce and deliver a unit of blood safely to a patient who needs it. It is evident that the gap between what we have to collect and what is needed cannot be breached by family-based donations only. What we need is a movement towards 100% voluntary blood donation, and the government, policymakers, health workers, and everyone needs to be part of it.
The Chief Executive Officer of the National Blood Service Ghana, Dr. Justina Kordai Ansa, commended blood donors for keeping the world beating. She further outlined the progress made out of the blood donation campaigns and was quick to add some challenges and the way forward for the service.
The of the National Blood Service has also been very challenging. The service runs a small annual budget relative to the growing demands for blood and blood products for transfusion. There's lack of funding to scale up and sustain operations to adequately meet the demands for safe blood in health facilities. The National Blood Service requires sufficient budget for expansion and long-term sustainability of blood services across the country. Our strategy as a service is to leverage on digital technology, particularly social media platforms, to expand our reach to the public, especially the youth, to grow the voluntary blood donor base in order to increase availability of safe blood for transfusion.
In a speech read on behalf of the Health Minister, Honorable Kweku Ajiman-Menu acknowledged the challenges faced by the country as its
blood supply still falls short of the units required by patients who need blood transfusion. I have been reliably informed that one of the reasons why this is so is because most Ghanaians prefer to wait until their relatives or friends need urgent blood transfusion before they show up to donate.
He further advised that
we need, as a matter of urgency, to move away from the family replacement system and redouble our efforts to attain the 100% voluntary blood donation target set by the year 2025. Also, all ministries, departments, agencies, the media, schools, and corporate organizations should either support staff-based or a community-based blood donation at least twice in a year to augment blood supply and sustenance all year round. Those of us who, for one reason or the other, cannot donate can serve as volunteers in recruiting voluntary blood donors.
Join us, you are watching AM News on Adoatv Television with me, Nanya McCullers, and let's do the latest in the world of business. With barely 5 weeks to end the year, the Ghana cedi has come under intense pressure, and it's been classified among African currencies with the worst hotspot returns. It's now been ranked at 14 among 20 top African currencies tracked by Bloomberg. The currency in Africa was the top currency in the first quarter of 2021. The past week has been worse for the local currency as it lost its ground with the United States dollar.
With barely 5 weeks to end the year, the Ghana cedi has come under intense pressure and is being classified among African currency with the worst spot returns. It's now ranked 14th among the 20 top African currencies tracked by Bloomberg. It was the best performing currency in Africa in the first quarter of 2021. A combination of factors, including released corporate demand for the United States dollar and the exit of the country's bond by some foreign investors, has put pressure on the local currency lately. The past week has been worst as the local currency lost more ground to the United States dollar. Bloomberg therefore puts the depreciation of the cedi at 4.05%, though the Bank of Ghana data shows a lower decline in value of the local currency to the United States dollar. Despite a rebound in oil prices among other export commodities, it appears dollar inflows are not enough to stabilize the local cedi.
That's for business this morning. You can log on to www.adwanewsonline.com/business for more to read. Let's do the latest in the world of sport. Manchester United has confirmed the appointment of a German coach as the club's new coach. The new coach would be in charge of the outfit until the end of the season.
What happens if we have the ball ourselves? How do we play against defensive teams, against teams that maybe attack high or try to press us? So you need to have, as a coach, a very clear idea of how do we want to play if we have the ball ourselves. Number two is, what do we want to do if the other team has got the ball? What kind of information, match plan, game plan do I give my players when the other team has got the ball? Our idea is clear. It's very, very similar to my, I would almost say, coaching friend, Jürgen Klopp. Our football, our Red Bull football is heavy metal, rock and roll, and it's not slow waltz, you know, if I mean. We hate square passes, back passes. Just having the ball ourselves as la pour la doesn't make sense. And then we have the two situations of transition. What happens in the very moment when we lose the ball, and what happens in the very moment when we win the ball. This is number 3 and number 4. And then, of course, you have the set pieces, also highly important. More than 30% of all the goals are being scored after set pieces. If we are honest as football coaches, what does that mean? If 30% of all the goals are being scored after set pieces, how much percentage of our training time should we invest in set pieces? If 30% of all the goals are being scored after set pieces, how much of our training time should we invest into set pieces? Huh? 30%. Let's be honest with ourselves. Do we invest 30% of our training time into set pieces? Offensive, defensive. Corner kicks, free kicks, even throw-ins. We are not. Huh? And yeah, so those are the 5 situations. And all the top teams, if you look into the last 2
on today's edition of AM News on Adoatv Television, we'll bring you an update of these stories in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, you can visit our website, www.adwanewsonline.com. From me and the rest of the team, you see us again very soon. My name is Nanyama Collison. Just before I go, a happy birthday to Olivia Texton from my colleague Frank Pintil here in Adoatv Television. We wish you the very best for today. Bye-bye.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494 258 or visit our marketing decks at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
CB will make up now. I'm correct. What's your best mankasa? That's it. Oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules in America.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the data. And 1 year packaging I have.
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako do pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwadano for. Any kwadano who you do and come home.
Susanna, Ghana man man tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aji ejedi nkato yato.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Water, but you're not getting your mouth. And that's all I'm order. The rag you are fire.
Malaria and tea. You are yet more bono. Malaria there for you. Enti awo. Ashire the customers. When you say Mammy, I am smart. Upper CB Malakio. I'm man the buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Genesis berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean. And now Emma when we are at war. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And better one. And the CB Malagio. You didn't know. And now I can't bomb as soon as I CB Malagio. And no one so there. And I don't grow. And yet that shit.
A drawing your ma appeal for. About a woman for. Any quada won't in fear.
Susanna. What would you win?
FD Ashusha sa ejedi enkra to imu adia to muse eye.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
CB will make up now. I'm correct. What's your best mankasa? That's it. Oh, middle. You captures back on the CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules in America.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the data. And 1 year packaging I am.
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako dog pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie do ye. Enka ho.
Susanna. Ghana man man tamase.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edwedin kato yato.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Water, but you're not getting your mouth. And that's all I'm order. The rag you are fire.
Malaria and tea. But you are yet more bono.
What you have to keep it.
Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo. I shouldn't a customers. When you say, Mammy, I am smart. I perceive Malakio. I'm money buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Janisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean and now Emma when we are to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one and better one and the CB Malagio. You didn't know and now kick out from a son so I CB Malagio. And no way so dear. And I don't grow. I yet that shit. A drawing your ma appeal for about a woman for any quada won't feed you.
Susanna, what would you win?
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and crato imu adia to Musa and
Morning, it's your favorite program, the AM Ghana, on your favorite TV station, that's Adoatv Ghana. And I'm very happy to be here with you this morning. It's Tuesday. I'm happy because it's the last day of the notoriously blessed month. That is the 11th month of the year, November. And I'm happy that you made it through every one of those 30 days. And maybe you are telling me you didn't feel the notorious blessings. Well, I have another good news for you. Today is the 30th, and it doesn't mark the end of those blessings. It's rather a beginning of sorts. Yes, you have tomorrow. In addition, tomorrow starts the 1st of December, which is the last month of the year. We have just 31 days to the end of the year. It looks very small, but believe you me, you can do so much with 31 extra days, just as you can do so much with today. Decide to make an impact today. Decide to make a change today. You can decide to relive the whole 30 days, what you couldn't do right now, today. It starts now. So start doing something right now. Get off your bed. Get out of your comfort zone and do something. Inspire someone. Inspire yourself, yes, into greatness. You can do something. It's never too late. And for all those who are bringing out their, the resolutions that they did at the beginning of the year, and you thought by November you should have been somewhere. You did whatever you could. You did your possible best, but you still find yourself where you thought you would never be. Believe you me, you are where you are meant to be. Many are the counsels of man, but it is the plan and desire of God that will come to pass. Believe that what God has intended for you is what or where exactly you are. Trust Him, have faith in Him, and you will get to that promised land. Stop looking at the giants. Stop looking at seeing yourself as a grasshopper and all that. Believe you me, one of these days you will get there suddenly without knowing. That's by way of a blessing and by way of an inspirational message from me and the team AM Ghana to you. And we're saying have a blessed and happy morning. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this break with the newspaper headlines. There's more to digest, so just grab your cup of coffee if you haven't. Quickly stir something. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Malaria nti abayi wo yejuma bono. Malaria defo ya o. Enti awo ahire ne customers ni. Wahu ne se maami aye smart. Abe CB Malakio. Amma ne baya odi ko school. She se aduane si berry market chi ani malaria nti a ontimi ni. And now, Emma, when we are at war. So we malaria testing. Maybe woman. And Trebetiwa and the CB Malagio. Yedinuna, Nehama, and Nakikabum Asoneso, I CB Malagio. And no way so dear. And I know grow. I yet tata say.
A drawing near my appeal for about a woman for any quada won't fear
Susiana, what would you with you?
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and crater you mu adia to Musa and
Back after that commercial break. Yes, remember that we're also sponsored by Verna Mineral Water. I'm jumping straight to the newspaper headlines, and I have with me here the Daily Graphic, whose motto is truth and accuracy every day. Tuesday, the November 30th of 2021. What do we have here? We have a picture of President Akufo-Addo being welcomed by Professor Nana Aba Apia Amfo. That's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, to the Future Legal Education in Africa Conference. So those with them in the picture, yeah, their names are down there, you can see. But what is a storyline on legal education? Of course, it says expand access but don't sacrifice quality. Expand access but don't sacrifice quality. And that was from the address by the President Nana Addo Akufo. Nana Dankwa Addo Akufo Addo. Yeah. So anxiety over the 2022 budget. We are still on this issue. It is a big case, and we will be following updates coming from the Parliament today. Whatever is going to come from Parliament, we're sure to bring it to you. But the Daily Graphic says experts call for consensus building. Experts call for consensus building. For governance experts and an economist have urged Parliament to build consensus in decision making in the interest of the nation. They have called on the majority and the minority sides in Parliament to engage deeply, avoid or be devoid of partisanship to resolve the issues resulting in the controversy surrounding the 2022 budget statement. According to them, the failure of members of the two sides to put their partisan positions aside and cooperate for the betterment of the country could have dire consequences for the administration of the country. And there's more on that story. You continue a little bit on the front page and then later on page 3. Later on page 3. You also have here Senate pension scheme intact. The Senate pension scheme is intact, and that is an assurance to contributors by the Director General. There's more again on that story, and that is on page 16. Now, what catches our interest is this news article. I believe it's going to run through most of the newspapers, if not all. Arrest Sosu, court orders. Arrest Sosu, and that is on page 20. Page 20. So I want to do a little bit of that. On page 20, I have arrest Sosu, court orders, and the National Democratic Congress Member of Parliament for Madina, Mr. Francis Xavier Kojo Sosu, is now a wanted man after the Kaneshi District Court had issued a bench warrant for his arrest. That was after the MP, who has provisionally been charged for unlawfully blocking a public road and the destruction of public property, failed to appear in court for the third time. The court, presided over by Mr. Isaac Oheneba Kufuor, issued the bench warrant yesterday following an application by the prosecutor, Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP, okay, Mr. Sylvester Asari. So there's more on why he was absent or his absenteeism there. There's more on the demonstration, of course, also on the speaker, the so mentioned letter, and also on the suit in general there on page 20. And again on page 20 we have the story of expanding access but not sacrificing quality of legal education by the president also there. But that is it for the front page. Yes, a little more on other parts of Africa. Africa-China Summit discusses enhanced cooperation. Africa-China Summit discusses enhanced cooperation. Okay. So there are other editorials on the e-levy also there. Omicron variant poses high risk. Omicron variant poses high risk, and that's coming from the Director General of the WHO, World Health Organization, and that is the new variant of the COVID-19 that is being discussed or being dealt with right now. Then on more issues globally, Iran, world powers begin Vienna talks. I'm jumping straight. I wanted the middle spread. Okay, we have it here. Paga Crocodile Ponds, a gold mine that must be sustained to boost tourism. So we have pictures of it. There is another tourism site that has been captured here, Booty Falls, one of Ghana's secret gems in the eastern region, especially when we're getting into Christmas. We should look at some of these tourist sites. It's funny that people come from all the way from their countries into their country, into our country here, Ghana, to see these places, and we have Ghanaians who have never been there before. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. I'm part of that group, so I'm encouraging myself and you, if you are part of my association, let's move out. Let's move out of our comfort zones. Let's visit these places and have a lot more to say about our country. There's also Mole National Park here, where wildlife can be viewed in numbers. I'm doing the back page. Farmers' Day celebration, best fisher to receive a 2-bedroom house. Best fisher to receive a 2-bedroom house, and 2 held over arms importation. 2 held over arms importation. And this story, yes, of course, Tema Harbor involved. The Marine Police Unit in Tema is holding 2 persons to assist in investigations into 3 bags containing 61 pieces of foreign arms concealed in personal effects at the Tema port. And that is the only gist I'm giving to you. Grab a copy of the Daily Graphic and do read more. So straight away to the Daily Statesman. The Daily Statesman, we have PAFAG on a NDC issue. It says NDC MPs only interested in partisan gains. NDC MPs only interested in partisan gains. And that story is on page 8. That story is on page 8. The screaming headline here says, we need more reforms in our legal education. Of course, that's coming from the president. President Akufo-Addo, I said earlier about being in the University of Ghana concerning a particular forum or conference that they had to tackle. So what do you have for Ghana? NPP demands and NDC's alternative to 2022 budget. Was NDC's alternative to the NPP's or the government's 2022 budget? And that's coming from John Bwedu, NPP's General Secretary. So yes, of course, on page 3 we see again a picture of the Honorable
Francis Xavier Sosu, MP for Medina, and the call for his arrest. The call for his arrest. Don't worry, I'm getting distracted. There's a gentleman here who is distracting me. Don't mind him. You will see him very soon. But I want to do a little on sports here. Sports. Daily Statesman Sports says Oscar Pistorius. Is it Pistorius? I hope I got it. Pistorius. Okay. Pistorius. Set to meet victim Riva, the victim's parent. So what are we talking about? The jailed ex-Paralympic, okay, athlete Oscar has been moved to a different prison ahead of a meeting with the parents of Riva Steenkamp, his girlfriend, who he murdered, yes, in 2013. So he's already served his term in prison. He's out now, and he wants to meet the parents of the lady. There's more. Kenya FA boss charged with 4 counts of fraud. Kenya FA boss charged with 4 counts of fraud. And in NBA, Stephen Curry inspires Golden State Warriors to a victory over LA Clippers. And that will be it for sports. So I'm going to introduce this gentleman who just joined me. Yes, he wanted to cause a surprise, but no, he's not. I'm not going to allow him to do that. So, yes, Reginald is here. Reginald Ade, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Juliana, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's quite an honor to know that I distract you anytime I'm present. And, well, let me say good morning to our cherished... A very good morning to our cherished viewers. Thank you for holding it down. I mean, you've done a great job by far. Let's quickly go into the new crusading guide as I have it here. Remove frustrations in legal education. Go forward to stakeholders. Remove frustrations in legal education. Legal education has come back on the front again, with the Attorney General indicating that there has not been any paper in Parliament for any form of consideration at all. Well, see the story on this one at page 3 of the new crusading guide. Now, Medina MP hot, my very good friend Francis Xavier Sosu. Now, the court issues a bench warrant for his arrest. So, perhaps sooner or later, Medina MP will be damperized. My very good friend may be damperized. Now, another one here says Alexa Powell, Dade chairs GIPC board. Alex Apau Dade chairs GIPC board. Minority fights majority in Parliament over 2022 budget. We have a picture of the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, and yesterday he came out with 5 considerations that the finance minister must ponder over in order for the minority to ever give their accent to a 2022 budget. But what we may not be focusing so much on as a nation are the repercussions of these delays and the aftermath of the rejection of the 2022 budget. Now, if by 31st December a budget is not approved for Ghana, we may have to get into a state of emergency, and this may mean otherwise, especially for well-meaning Ghanaians. Well, we'll look at this and more in the newspaper review segment. Do stay tuned now. On pages 3 and 10, indicated on the front page of the new crusading guide, government increases investment in power generation to meet domestic and industrial needs. NPP member of parliament, by picture I can tell that's Honorable Chum Berima. Honorable Chum Berima, and here says that government increases investment in power generation. Well, we'll see about that. The back page has obituary, a life well lived, may his soul rest in peace. Penultimate page, sports crusade. Manchester United appoints Ralph as interim manager. If I dare try mention the surname, my good sister here will definitely get me, and I don't want to get into her then this morning. Shooting Stars signed a partnership agreement with Bundesliga giants, Borussia Dortmund. Another one here says that FIFA appoints normalization committees in both countries. And that's for the penultimate page of the New Crusading Guide. Now, for the information of the New Crusading Guide, if you can see this, this is where the interesting story of the minority fighting majority in Parliament is. Unfortunately, there is this huge ink blot, and I think that it's a waste of toner. New Crusading Guide, kindly check, as it has made it purely impossible for people who purchase the newspaper to read. This is a paper that is selling at 3 cedis, so maybe when people buy, you should give them a change. Anyways, that's just by the way, but it sounds like for the New Crusading Guide.
All right, so yes, I told you he was a different person.
I'm all about fairness, and you know,
Yes.
I'm not talking about fairness as in your complexion, but I'm talking about fairness as in being even. All right. Anyways, you're looking good this morning. I like is it violet or purple? They say that women have a better appreciation of colors than men. We will call it purple or violet, whichever way. This is violet.
No, violet is deeper, like the Verna, deeper.
I see. All right. Anyway, you should take a picture after the show today.
I will.
I would personally take a picture of you.
Is there too.
But we don't have a picture together. Are you aware? It's not. It's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. Anyway, Sasu will use his 13 Pro Max to take a picture of us today, so there shouldn't be a problem at all. Let's go into the daily guide.
Okay. Daily guide. Okay, so, well, these 3 news items keep popping up everywhere. Nana supports legal education reform. If you have the daily guide, it's on page 6. Arrest Sosu. Now. They didn't add the now. I'm the one adding it. So
why are you
in case you
adding
don't see
now?
it, court orders.
So you're one of those people who are vehemently seeking the arrest of the Medina MP, my very good friend. I see.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
you will hear from us.
Like that. So that story is on page 3, and then of course NDC MP worry over budget chaos, and that story is on page 3. But the 2 others here, Dr. Anya picks 4th consecutive wellness award, and it's on page 6. But there is a picture of himself with some beautiful ladies there. Yeah, so he's there with some ladies there, and then on top we also have Napo Bags 2 awards. I saw all the controversy on Facebook about this particular one yesterday. So
as a Minister of Education, Energy. I see. Interesting.
A whole lot. I saw the picture I saw was of Kwame Sefakai handing him the award. But this one is of him being strapped in some kente cloth. So 2 awards. I think I've caught the first one already. So if this is the second one, then I've seen both. All right. So I'll jump straight to page 5. That is world news. COVID issues on COVID. South Africa's president calls for lifting of Omicron travel bans. And I also had read an article yesterday from South Africa concerning this. They're saying that South Africa, they said the way they captioned it, it was like the new variant started from South Africa, but they said no, they were the ones, because they had all the
continuously testing.
Yes,
they discovered.
Yes,
yeah, it's earlier, but as at that time, it was also discovered in some other areas, like
some
Canada,
other areas. So why did they loud it? When it came to the South Africans,
it usually beholds on the country. Usually, the source is taken from the country that actually, identifies the virus. Because when you look at, the nature of testing or the procedures for testing, is first of all identifying the problem, and then going on into testing, experimentation, amongst other things. So if you don't identify that there is a particular change in the trend, and so usually, if you have identified, then it means that,
I think that like they were trying to say, South Africa health director or general or whatever was trying to say yesterday, we identifying it doesn't mean that we started it. In fact, COVID didn't even start from Africa.
Well,
so
I wonder what the South Africans were saying when COVID was discovered in Wuhan. everybody called it the Wuhan virus.
The Wuhan
and I'm sure that they were also part of those who called it. And you realize the discrimination that went up ahead against the Chinese people. And so, well, personally, I don't think that it is, right to blame a particular country. But I think that if you have discovered this, it's just responsible. I mean, it's just a responsible move to do, to take charge of some of these things. But the virus in itself, the way it mutates, if you follow the sequencing, you realize that there are over 1,000 mutations by far. And some of them are considered less severe, and so we don't hear any news about them. And nobody has been able to ascertain whether Omicron is, dangerously different from the other strains that we've already discovered. So let's stop making all the noise.
Let's move away. I saw this yesterday as well. 7 die after eating poisonous turtle meat. Did you see it? And a whole lot more are in hospital.
Why would you go and eat tortoise?
Wow.
Anyways.
Even turtle. I mean,
how long would you boil a turtle before it becomes
but for those interested in Twitter, I'm told I shouldn't say Twitter. Say Twitter. So Twitter for my educators. Yeah. Your boss, Jack Dorsey, has stepped down. Yes, to make way for someone who is more focused to handle Twitter, and that's good. Sweden's first female PM returns after resignation, and that will be it for the Daily Guide. But we want to go on a quick commercial break before you. So a very quick commercial break. If your tea is getting too warm, go and reheat it. Just 2 seconds. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Malaria and tea. You are yet more bono. Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo. Hashing the customers. When you say, Mammy, I am smart. Upper CB Malakio. I'm man the buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a pianisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean. And now, Emma, when we are at war. So we are malaria test. Maybe one. And better one. And the CB Malakio. Yedinuna. Nehama. And now kick out bomb as soon as I CB Malakio. And no way so dear. And I know grow. I yet tata shit.
A drawing near my appeal for. About a woman for. Any quada won't feed you.
Susiana. What would you with you?
FD Ashusha sa a JD and Kratoimu Adia to Musa and
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
CB will make up now. I'm correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. You want oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules and America.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the data. And 1 year packaging I had the
wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bianza wako do mpegi.
She are painful. Any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada go di fie do ye. En ka ho.
Susanna. Ghana man be man tamase.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edredin kato yato.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Water, but when I get your mouth. And that's all I'm order.
Malaria and tea. You are yet more bono. Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo. I shouldn't the customers. Well, when I say, Mammy, I am smart. I perceive Malakio. ama ne ba ya odi ko school she se aduane si berry market chi ani malaria nti a ontimi ni onia entina ho ema we mu biara to wo se wo ye malaria test na ebi wo mu a edra bedi wa ene sibi malagio ye dinu na ne hahama na akeka bom asone so aye sibi malagio edra we so de enya no kra o aye tata she
edro yi nyema apemfo abate a woma womanfo ene nkwada woni mfie dumie
Suziana, what would you win? FD ahwehwe saa ejadie nkrato yi mu agye atomu se eye.
You for staying with us. In case you just joined us, you're watching AM Ghana here on Adoatv Television. My name is Reginald Adi, and I was here with Juliana Ijoma a while ago, taking you through the newspaper headlines. But as a matter of time, we couldn't take you through all of the newspapers. Let me issue this advice again to the new crusading guy that one of the pages has so much ink blots in there, so there should be some reconsideration on that one. In the meantime, I'm joined by the two political reps from the two leading political parties in the country, the NDC and the NPP, and we have Mr. Vericap Gadri Kobina, who is representing the National Democratic Congress, and Mr. Evans, I'm here, who is representing the NPP. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to AM Ghana.
I'm representing the only party with the swag.
Hey.
Which is the NPP.
Wow. I see.
Yeah, good morning. It's a very refreshing morning, and it's by divine grace. Of course, let me extend a very good morning to your cherished viewers and yourself and your crew.
Right.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amir. But Mr. Amir had a very, quick way of getting in. I was actually going to go to Gadri,
But before he comes, he said the two main leading political parties. Of course, two cannot lead.
Yes.
It can take only one party to lead. And that's exactly what the MPP is doing. So,
no, but we all know that.
We will come back.
When it comes
Gadri, how you doing?
Yes, sir. We thank God for that. And,
yes.
We are glad to be here. Good morning to your lovely viewers, and we look forward to fruitful discussions that would shape, policy decisions in this country. Because I mean, in the end, when we come to sit here, it's to suggest and proper solutions where necessary, and see if decision makers will be able to find space when they are making decisions. So, by and large, we thank God for life, and we're happy to be here.
Certainly, we have life. I mean, once we have life, we have it all.
But a quick one. Yesterday was President Mohammed's birthday.
Yes, so if you want to wish him, we use this opportunity on all our platforms.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's nice. So let me use the opportunity to wish him a happy birthday. I think he's a great asset to this country, and I pray to God to keep him and protect him.
Right.
Because I believe that he's the only one that can rescue this country at this time.
Yes, see.
We are already sinking, and we need him alive. So we pray to God.
Who is sinking? The party?
The country.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I mean, and it's obvious. So
okay.
We pray that God keeps ex-President Mahama and bring him back come 2024, and then he can come to the aid of this country because our people are suffering.
Right. How did he observe the birthday yesterday? I mean, usually we would have seen, former President Mahama. They say that he is a best kisser because of some poses we've seen with he and his wife, former First Lady. We didn't see any of those yesterday. What's happening?
Well, last night I think I saw some pictures. I think they had embarked on some kind of donation exercise.
Oh, okay.
So they went to donate to some group of people, himself and the wife.
Right.
Actually, and he took some beautiful pictures with his two sons.
Yes, yes, okay, yeah. So I saw that swagging photo. Evans too says that his party is the most swag-on
Nana Showboy.
Anyways, you spoke about something. You touched on an aspect. You said that you're looking forward that we have conversations that will shape policy making. Now, one of the biggest policy documents is the 2022 budget, which was presented in Parliament last, 2 weeks ago on the 17th of November. However, the approval of it, of which, you know, we saw on Friday. As it is now, it seems that the nation is on tenterhooks because we don't know what is the way forward. We're not going to go into why
the
whys, but we are going to look into the way forward. What do you think the repercussions would be if, you know, today we're expecting some heated arguments and debates on that. That is, even if it's part of the order for the day, but I believe that the committee responsible would find a way to chip that in. What do you think the repercussions of the rejection and the act on both sides would be on the nation? As it is now, we don't have an approved budget going into 2022. That's a problem.
Okay, so first of all, let me take the opportunity to again congratulate the minority MPs. I believe they did a yeoman's job, you know, and what they did represents really the interests of the people. Compared to what we had previously, where we had 169 against 106, where we would have had the majority bulldozing, and for that matter, or that would then mean that we are going to, whether we like it or not, bear the cost of that 1.7 momo, 75 momo tax. And so I want to commend them for the job they have done. They have really shown leadership and they have really represented the people. But I think that this will not be the first time. I mean, history tells us sometime 81, 82, thereabout under His Excellency Liman. I mean, a similar thing happened. But not the first republic. This is going to be the first.
Right.
And it's historic. Historic in the sense that it's never happened before.
You mean under the Fourth Republic?
You know? Yeah, under the Fourth Republic. And so, the ramifications, there are many. There are too many. But I don't believe that it is one that is going to really take all of us back. I mean, take the entire country back or bring the country to a standstill, because the very people that ought to approve or disapprove are also aware very much that even their salaries and their lives depend on this budget. The life of this country depends on this budget. And so I don't think that the minority is going to take a hardline position. And in any case, I mean, proud to getting to where we are today. I don't think that the minority's position was to say that we will not accept the budget at all. Some of the concerns raised were that on some particular issues, i.e. the 1.7 tax, government needed really to extend its consultations, even to Parliament, to the very stakeholders. We are told that the Ministry of Finance, together with the economic team, did this without recourse to even the telcos. And these are major stakeholders in this process. These are people you cannot ignore. The telcos, even with the consumers, merchant to president, and all of these people. These are all part of the chain, and they are not people you can just ignore. And I think that's one of the things that have led to this hula baloo we have about the budget. And so it's been one of our reasons why we didn't want to accept the budget. Also, the Kita Sea Defense, for instance, is one of the things that we had hoped that the budget would talk about, but there was not even a single mention. And these are Ghanaians. I mean, so we did not know at what point really we are going to have the government consider.
But the Qatar issue, now that's an issue that came up, I mean, quite recently. And if I mean, we're looking at, you know, the budget takes into considerations events that has occurred in the first quarter, the second quarter. We're done with the third quarter. We are in the final quarter of the fiscal year. And for the Qatar issue, we've had a lot of agencies attending to them. We've had the responsible minister, Honorable Jifa Gomashi, you know, also looking at finding resolutions.
That's the MP, yes.
Yeah, the beg your pardon, the MP, not the minister. Looking to finding resolutions, and she has also proffered, you know, to find resolutions for the people. Is it so much of a necessity to be captured in the budgets? I mean, within the course of, you know, the budget, spending within the budgets, there are other unforeseen circumstances. They are not necessarily captured in the budget all the time. Is it a necessity for which you should reject the budget? I mean, there are other, when you look at those 5 considerations that the minority puts in place, for instance, I mean, some of these things are well mentioned in there. But do you think that the Keta or the Ketu South issue is such importance for the rejection of the budget?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's a combination of reasons, and this is just one of it. And it's also one that we cannot just overlook. Even the disaster we had, the June 3rd disaster we had, that was not a really major compared to what we are seeing in Keta. But even that, there was a whole fund set up for that. And so what stops us from, I mean, I think that the people of Keta, to some extent, felt disrespected in that they even expected just a mention of it in the finance minister's budget. But I didn't hear that. I listened to the entire event that day, and I didn't hear anything of sort. And so, I mean, it's one that we just cannot overlook. Okay. But that alone cannot be, it's not the standalone reason for rejecting a Japan deal, for instance, is one of it, the e-levy and all a few other, issues. And so the ramifications, of course, I mean, we can see, but I think that, I mean, Parliament is a master of its own rules. There are so many ways Parliament can go about these things, and I am even looking forward to an approval today. I mean, by close of day, that would have made, or the minister would have, as it were, gone back to re-engage the stakeholders and all the people that matter as far as these things the minority has raised, may be concerned.
Let's see how it goes. As it stands now, we understand that the minority will be having a caucus meeting before the actual sitting. Let's hope that they will come to a resolution. Evans, the minority has, suggested some considerations that the finance minister should take into account in the budget. Now, one is the suspension of the electronic transaction levy, e-levy. 2, withdrawal of EJAPA, which honorable minority leader calls Ejaboni. Now, he calls for a provision for the tidal waves disaster. Now, properly reconstruct the wording relating to the Acre Energy, that is in relation to GNPC's acquisition of a stake from Acre Energy, and then the review of the benchmark value imports. Now, Evans, whether you like it or not, some of these considerations have been also mentioned by a lot of CSOs, the public, and some other organizations, especially for those that the benchmark value for imports directly affects. We've heard some trade unions coming out to lament about some of these things. And for the e-levy, I don't want. You, Evans, you don't want. Gadri, he doesn't want.
At all.
Do you personally think that these points are substantive enough for the minority to have, rejected the budget? Because as it stands, usually before Parliament, there is a meeting between all caucuses, even with the speaker. But it happens that what you think would have been a smooth procession turns out otherwise.
Yes. Reggie, in as much as I want to stick to facts, I think we should also be conversant with the people we are dealing with.
Which people?
I mean, I'm talking about the NDC, by extent, the minority in Parliament. You see, it's a different thing to play to the political gallery, and then, as it were, knowing the facts, understanding the facts, and then acting upon it. You see, in every budget statement, we have pre-budget discussion and a post-budget discussion. The NDC, in all their submissions, did not say that they were not informed, or committees didn't sit down, stakeholders were not met, to, as it were, go into details what the budget, will bring about. Unfortunately, even when there are exceptions or when there are issues with budgets, from the colonial days to this time, there are a number of discussions as to which should fit in well and what not. Okay. Typical of the minority and what the MPP seek to do. For me, if it's not for political, capital, then what else? Now, Reggie, let's come to the facts. Here is a country that is professing so much on free senior high school. And even if you take free senior high school and look at the indicators and the development, the advancement, you cannot shy away from the fact that, there are so many financial commitments. Then you look at numbers, where we started and where we are now, the number of people who are on the scheme. So you need enough funds. Then again, you look at other, social interventions. There are so many roads, water, energy, and all that. Then again, you have to also understand that we are coming from a certain transition where the world has been engulfed with this pandemic, issues. So where else can you go and then ask for help? Even if you have to go for an interest, it comes with a higher rate of loan. It comes with a higher rate of interest. So then what do you do as a government? For you, for your developmental projects not to be curtailed. The reasons and many others that brought this levy. And let me be sincere with you and then those watching us. It's not as if it's only the NDC who is going to pay this levy. Okay? This is the situation you all find ourselves in. What must you do?
What must you do?
You see, these are people who are, bringing different alternative, who are bringing different ultimatum. Now, you don't want us to have enough money. How can we employ? How can we pay those who are even employed?
But the finance minister, when he introduced the 1.75 levy, did not mention employment. He mentioned entrepreneurship. He mentioned youth empowerment. He mentioned road construction. So there was no promise of employment.
No, you see, employment is not, we don't have to, be in a certain, jack and then say employment is about, employing people to ministries and then paying them at the end of every month.
Okay.
Okay, it's about empowering your people.
Okay.
The reason why the minister said he's bringing up this youth start, and the number of people who are going to get employed directly is over 1 million. Indirect jobs,
So the 1.75 levy is in a way supposed to fund
part of it.
You start,
and you see, you cannot choke a certain government.
Evans, I want to come in here. Like you've made a good, you've laid a very good table for an analysis. I want to find out from you, as the introduction of taxes an indication that we have failed as a country when it comes to industrialization?
We've not.
Let me land. Does it mean that we failed when it comes to industrialization? Because when we decided as a country to widen the tax nets, we decided to tax people's incomes, people's remittances, and the small money that people will be receiving from wherever, be it they are working for the money or they are not working for the money. If it's money for personal upkeep or not, this is the money that we decided to tax. Meanwhile, if we industrialize, set a conducive environment for people to be able to come up with their own organizations, these individual industries, they would render accounts. You can tax their profits. And profits, if you check taxation, it is profits after work that you're supposed to tax.
Let me give you a certain background. When the MPP took reins of power in 2017, there are certain taxes that had to be written off. And these taxes we call nuisance taxes.
Yes.
Okay. And it depends on the projections and your prioritized area. Some taxes were nuisance at the time. You had to just let it go. Okay. To the extent that we set up new ministries depending on the ideals and the ideas that we had for the nation. It came to a certain point, you had to, fizzle out all those ministries and then, tackle other very key areas.
Because you said they have achieved the purpose for which they were created.
Now, looking at those who are being, taxed directly, you have a population of 30.8 million. Out of that, you have only 2.3 million who are being taxed directly. And even if you get those monies, it is all of the 30.8 million who should benefit out of it. So you're using 2.3 million people taxes to build rules for 30.8 million people to facilitate planting for food and jobs, to facilitate one district, one factory for all these people. I mean,
in effect, we tax the untaxable. Is that where we are getting to?
You see,
now I spoke to an economist. I've spoken to an economist, Mr. Julius Kata. He says that, look, we can decide to go all about the taxes, and if you go back into conversations, having listened to the vice president, he said that, I mean, it's easier for anybody to wake up and be taxing. He says that even a baby that was born yesterday, if it's about taxation, a baby that was born yesterday,
yes.
do it. That means that it's the lazy man's approach to generating revenue. If I'm picking from there, because industrialization can certainly not be equated.
It still remains a lazy man's approach, okay, for taxation.
Okay.
But then you also have to look at where you are taxing, because if you, for instance, you have a commission like National AIDS Commission, who are trying as much as possible to prevent AIDS, and then you put taxes on condom. I mean, what do you seek to achieve? So yes, you must tax, but you have to tax from the right sources, and then also widen the tax net. About 8.5 million of the population are in the informal sector. How do you then get them to pay taxes? So it's about formulation of new ideas.
What happened to the digitalization agenda?
My point.
Identify the people in the informal sector, then you know how to tax them.
Digitalization is not just about, you see, it will take a long while.
I'll come to you.
Okay, cool. It will take a long while, but in the interim, what must you do in order for governmental projects to keep on running? So now, you reject a certain budget. You reject a certain budget.
Just a minute.
And then you also profess that some projects must be done. How can we do all these things? In any case, if you want to reject the 1.75% e-levy, what is the other alternative? You didn't bring absolutely, nothing. Just that we want to reject it.
Don't you think that? Don't you think that if you consulted broadly?
No, I understand.
See, in our local parlance, there is a saying that nyansa anything.
No.
If you consulted broadly, wouldn't you have had options?
Which the finance minister did. Okay,
he did.
He did. And even on the
because even the telcos, even the telcos that are supposed to gather up so that you will be able to take that 1.5, they are not aware.
Now
they say they don't even know the mechanism for the deduction.
Let me tell you this. You see, every other country, especially when the president travels, he travels to woo investment into the country to come and invest.
Yes.
So it is incumbent on any other government to make sure that you create the enabling environment for investors to be able to work. So assuming, without admitting, that they were not even consulted.
What happened to
it is within the purview of the government to make sure that they are able to work and work effectively for the benefit of us.
You see, so I indicated that we are not going to touch on the OIS, but you see, these things, you see the way you are hitting hard on them. It is because it has become quite disturbing.
It's not as if I'm hitting on them.
No, I'm not talking on anybody. I'm talking about the e-levy. I said I will not go back to the whys and all that, but to look into the future. Yes, it's important. That's why it's unavoidable. That is why the conversation is coming up. But let me go back to Ngadri. Today, we are bound to see a parliamentary session, we don't know and cannot project what the organization would be today. If you had any advice for the minority and the majority as well, what would it be?
Well, like I said from the beginning, my hope is that by the end of today, close of business, we will have a running budget, a budget as a working document that can help us move this country forward.
By that, do you mean that the finance minister should have made all these considerations and then
that's my expectation.
3 days have made reforms?
He should have, because this is an emergency situation. He should have. You see, and that's my expectation. In fact, from here, I will even be going there to if we will be allowed to access, and I will do that. But you see, let me take you back small. You see, I think that the MPP berated and bastardized President Mahama for no reason. They sort of they were on an agenda to disinform Ghanaians.
On which account?
About the personality President Mahama and the things he was doing for this country. I think that today the reality has set in and posterity is judging. And I say this because...
But the fact that we are here today doesn't mean that the NDC did not introduce some unwarranted taxes that were also scrapped off.
I'm coming. You, if you would allow. Okay. You see, this is the same... And let me just state, you see, this government has been very dishonest with Ghanaians. And in my view, I think that they have broken the social contract, or the trust, the social trust between themselves and the people. And I'll give you reasons why I'm saying that. And if you would allow me, I'll demonstrate to you. This government is super incompetent to the extent that, I mean, we cannot see. Danger just looms for this country, and it's so glaring. If you check the very economic indicators they use, they rode on to come into power, and you see what we have today. You don't need anybody to come and tell you that this country is on a path that is very dangerous. And I'll demonstrate to you. This is the same government. In the last budget, this is the same government I think last year or so, or this year's budget, the minister had mentioned that from 2017 to this time, they have added only 300,000 jobs. That is for 5 years of being in power. And today you
how
are
much
telling
did you? How much did you?
No, you hold on. You hold
Evans,
on. I am trying to demonstrate to you how dishonest this government can be. I mean, prior to the 2020 election, President Mahama had indicated that he was going to create 1 million jobs, and he had set out the plan that he was going to do 250,000 every year. So by the time he's leaving, that 4 years will be
the same one that economists have said that it's not feasible.
Sorry?
The same one that the economists have indicated that it's not
but
feasible.
How feasible is the 1 million jobs the finance minister is promising us today? Have you done any feasibility assessment?
Now, if you want to blame a government that has been able to introduce at least 300,000 jobs, meanwhile, in your time, you froze employment, you scrapped off allowances, and I mean, it's a chain.
That is where.
Do you want to compare and say that you did better? How do you bastardize?
That is why I want to demonstrate to you that this government has done nothing when it comes to even that 300,000 figure I spoke to you about. In May 3, 2015, that was when President Mahama took us to the IMF. This was a sincere and honest leader who admitted and agreed that times were tough, that things were not going well under his watch, and so there was the need to go to the IMF. We went to the IMF for a bailout for 3 years, from May 3. 2015 to it was supposed to end 3 years.
What was the result?
And so that is what brought about the government's inability to recruit and all that. So by the time this government came into power, there were vacancies all over. They only had to fill it. That's what it is. They only had to fill it. What jobs did they create?
I see.
What jobs did they create really? The same JM that you bastardized for taking us to the IMF. You came in 2017. The program was supposed to end 3 years from 2015. You extended it to 2019. It ended in August 2019. We had gone for $980 million. And even at the time, 2015, the IMF, per their own projection, had projected that the economy was going to grow from 2.2% to 8.8% from 2015. Now you come and you said that you were doing a growth of 6.5% as at 2019. So we should sing praises for you. That already is a difference, or you're running a deficit of what the IMF had projected, given the measures they had put in place. I mean, knowing that we had come to the IMF for support. So right there you failed. Then COVID comes, COVID strikes, then you take the economy back. We are doing 0.4% growth now. I mean, we can't fault you because we all...
Which is quite resilient. As compared
how
to
resilient?
other when you compare it to peer, when you compare it to peer
today, as I speak with
you realize where we stand.
As I speak with you, in sub-Saharan Africa, even in Africa, Ghana is one of the countries with the highest inflation figure. The last time they were talking about the fact that they were doing a single-digit inflation and all that. Compare our peers. Even Georgia, Liberia is doing 7% inflation. Ghana is doing 11% as I speak to you today. So what are you talking about? Togo is doing 4.9 or so. Any of your guys could check
we will check.
We will check. No, but
inflation is just one of the
it is just one, and I cited that as an example.
Overall, when you look at economic growth and resilience, I'm talking about resilience because of
but an economy that's growing at 0.4%. How do you say it's a resilient economy? How do you say that?
At which pace was the economy growing?
The IMF giving the measures it had put in place when President Mahama took us there.
So when we
were to go at 8.8 by 2019, you came and you were doing 6.5. How do you say that? I mean, I won't fault you for doing 6.5.
Okay.
But importantly, you see, even with respect to, you had mentioned that we didn't want to go into the details of all the whys, but just on the E-levy, you see, why I say that the MPP has been dishonest with us is that they tell us that they take inspiration from countries like Kenya. Countries like, I will forward a report to you and you can read a research. I mean,
which country? You mean countries that have practiced or tried to implement the e-levy?
That have tried. Okay. Some are even underway.
We have the Congos.
We have the Congos, the Malawi,
yes,
the Cote d'Ivoire, yes, the Kenya, and the rest, and the Uganda. And in any of these countries, and I will share a report with you if you want me to.
I've done my own research.
Okay. In any of these countries, you see, none of them even did more than what we are doing.
That's
the
true.
highest they went was 1.5.
Yes.
Sorry, I mean 1%, and we are doing 1.7.
Some dared to go beyond 1.8.
I don't know which ones.
Well,
it is only Cote d'Ivoire.
Congo, for instance. Let's not go into. Let's jump to what you're trying to establish.
Okay. So then the point I'm making is that you cited Kenya as one of your inspiration for this e-levy. But I don't know if you have also read about the digital services tax of Kenya. It is completely different from what the government is seeking to run here.
Certainly.
And that is why I say the government is being dishonest with the people.
Okay.
Digital services, taxing digital services, that is people patronizing items on digital marketplaces and all that. And even that, the Kenyan government was not focusing on Kenyans. It was focusing on Kenyan business owners or businesses. So for instance, if
that was after the Kenyans have kicked against the initial plan. Hold on. Kenya indeed tried to implement, and it was kicked against. So they went back, reviewed, and decided to tax in an indirect way.
But the law was enacted just last year. It took effect just January this year.
And this is what I'm telling you. If you want to go back and check.
No, I can share the report to you, and then we can
go back and check. Evans,
we can fact check.
You see,
even so, let's go on to. I asked him what advice would he give to both sides. I'm asking the same of you.
Yeah, but before that, let me quickly, I don't need to rubbish it, but at least you have a certain vice president who has been the leader of the economic management team from 2009 to 2015. So within that space, he couldn't, conjure any economic prowess. It took the country to IMF. And then you are telling us.
In 1966, you are telling us government. That was when we began engaging IMF.
You are telling us that IMF projected a 4.5 growth in 2019.
Given the support we have
so from 2009 to 2015 is how many years?
No.
And then you are saying from 2015 to 2019, the economy will grow. Maybe I don't know whether he's going to conjure magic or something, but the real facts are that you see, the country was actually in a loop under Mahama. And Reggie, where we are now, I don't want to go back to all these.
But Reggie, you see how difficult it is for the MPP to give explanations to some of the things they say.
If you cut him like this, obviously it will be difficult.
So sorry.
Evans, go on.
you are talking about that, and that it is a country among among peers. That's your basis of looking if Ghana is moving forward or not.
But don't you think that it's good to, I mean, compare yourself to,
you see,
to your peers and see if you are growing or
the
not? Because
funny
if you live by your
aspect
own
is that
indices,
I'm not too sure whether you are aware of this report.
Which
that
report?
that IMF and then the international organizations about a year or so ago told us that Ghana was even growing faster than China. Is it not true?
By what percent?
No, it's not true.
I didn't hear that one. You
can check. Okay. I mean, we are on TV.
You are telling me.
You see, so what I'm telling you is that regardless of this COVID issues, the economy is taking its recovery.
Sincerely on a rather slow pace, because
I mean, at least
one would have expected
Reggie,
that COVID opened our eyes to so many things.
Let me tell you the difference.
And COVID was an opportunity, whether you like it or not, to grow within.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
you see,
the growth that we were supposed to see, we didn't see.
Reggie, now let me tell you something.
Yes.
Today, as I'm talking, we are far ahead of the likes of South Africa in terms of growth. In growth rate, ahead of Germany in terms of so we are not even comparing ourselves to any of the African countries in the sub-Saharan country.
You should ask the parameters you're using to measure for these measurements. You can't just
the rate of growth.
Which
I mean, you are talking about the community, so all aspects. You cannot. I don't want to single out. I don't want to single out that in the fishing industries. Of course, before we took raise, the fishing industries was growing at 0.03%.
Ghana's economy is growing
under
South Africa's
NDC.
economy.
With
which indices?
With indices, all the economic indicators.
So
you combine. You combine inflation. You combine lending rate, interest rate. You combine. I mean, all these things. Do you understand? To the extent that by dint of grace or maybe data and science, we are now better off than even some of the Western countries in terms of COVID management. What I'm telling you is that today the economy is taking stride. Okay. Yes, there has been some challenges in terms of the budget allocations 2022. I mean, this is what we profess. But if you think you have any other alternative, it's better you bring it on board for Ghanaians to see how meticulous, how good you are in understanding economics. Reggie, the last issue is about what is going to happen today.
Yes.
Honestly, if you want to look at what happened the last time, if consensus is not built, then I can't see any other change. You know why? I'm informed that the Speaker of Parliament is out of the nation, and then of course we also have a deputy majority leader coming from the minority side. Okay, if he's to preside, what it means is that because he doesn't have a vote, even if you have the full complement of parliamentarians, and there's no consensus, what it is that they will still split.
Yes.
So there won't be any change. My prayer is that within the last few hours or days, there has been able to bridge a certain kind of argument and come to terms as to what the nation must do. You see, the budget is not just for the finance minister and his outfit, but the totality of Ghanaians. We want to make sure that we create the enabling environment for everybody to work, especially the unemployment rate that continues to rise, because you have a chunk of students coming from the university, coming from the senior high school. You need to empower them.
Yes.
The reason I said yes, the indicators are changing, and you need to abreast yourself or be at the par, so that there only be a shortfall or a short change, as it were, to all these things. So we need to look at areas we can gather money and then, as it were, fulfill every promise that Ghanaians, need to see.
All right, let's look at areas that we can gather money. A friend of mine, very good friend of mine, says that he's an economist. Actually, he says that you see, it seems that we are so stuck on the borrowings and the taxation, and it's unfortunate that as a country we tend to look at only these forms of revenue generation as a form of, growing internally. He spoke about other areas. Industrialization. When you talk about industrialization, you can talk about exportation and a whole lot. Personally, I think that if we don't gird ourselves to industrialize,
but we've started
to create the environment.
This one factory is doing, and
how many districts do we have in the country?
Districts?
Yes, Evans.
Reggie.
No, I'm asking you how many districts and how many factories? Even if you have, how many factories do we have now?
Reggie, we don't have to act as if, suddenly we come at a level of some of the Western countries.
You gave a timeline when you promised in 2016.
What we are saying is that a factory should be able to, equip with machines. A factory should be able to produce at an optimum level.
In 2017, the first factory was commissioned somewhere. I've forgotten.
Ekumfi.
I think it's Commander before Ekumfi.
Ask him about the state of Commander
hold on, please. Oh, boss, allow. I mean, it's been some years on, 4 years or so on.
No, but the Commander Sugar Factory, we didn't touch it.
What has been the result?
The state of Commander Sugar Factory.
I'm not talking about the state. The result will tell whether the state is good enough or not. What has been the result? What has been the result of Ekumfi?
Oh my goodness! I'm not too sure whether you've gotten. Well, Ekumfi is doing so well to the extent that the manufactured beer. I forgot the name. Something beer.
Yeah,
yes.
I heard about that.
Ekumfi beer.
Yes.
Wow.
So you see, Reggie, go to the share shops and then the market.
Have they started? Because they
are manufacturing.
Whispering in my ear.
They are manufacturing in larger quantities. I'm telling you, Ekumfi fruit juice. When you are done with the program, you can go to the Mokola market and ask for Ekumfi fruit juice to the extent that you can. I don't know whether you enjoy beer. Other than that, beer is also available.
The man are whispering into my ear about the beer. But you see, I'm fasting.
So during weekends, we are not buying ABC. We are not buying Club again. Yes, we are drinking made in Ghana beer.
I see. Anyways, let's close the chapter on that. And
the reason they are not comfortable, you see, when the budget came to be, when the president, finance minister, brought about this budget, look at the number of employment. If this budget is able to approve, the number of people who will be employed. The kind of jobs and the empowerment it will give to the people, the money that will be accrued into.
You are
so they are uncomfortable.
The words of the.
Are you looking at the faces of your production?
They are uncomfortable, and I can understand. You see, they quickly want to come to power.
Evans is okay.
And when they see all this, major.
The court has issued a bench warrant for arrest of Madina MP. Let me fairly give you 2 minutes to sum up. He just told a minute.
Well, I think that Sosu is doing so well, so far so good, and at this time, I think that personally, I think he should do the honorable thing because the police has been looking for him for far too long.
Right.
And I don't know whether he can run forever. I don't think he can.
Well, I was actually giving you a minute to touch on any rebuttal back. Since you want us to. No, since we've already done it, let's not go back. Let's not go back. So the court has issued a bench warrant for arrest of the Madina MP. So the Kaneshie Magistrate Court yesterday issued a bench warrant for the arrest of the NDC MP. Is it NDC MP? What? Sometimes, Daily Statesman, Madina MP. Not. All right, Francis Xavier Susu, because of his failure to appear before the court for the 3rd consecutive time. Mr. Xavier Susu, who has been under the protection of the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Smana, Kingsford Bagbin, was yesterday expected to appear before the court, where he's facing criminal charges for. So we know why he's facing these charges and why he's being asked to appear before the court. Yesterday, he failed to appear. Why is the Member of Parliament doing that? He's my good friend, but since you speak for the party.
But Reg, before I go to that.
No. Let's come to it.
But it's important because there are so many things he spoke about that I really need to respond to.
You are taking us back.
Okay, I'll follow your lead.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so like I was saying, Honorable, I think that at this time, if it's possible, he should just submit himself. He should just go to the police and whatever they have to say to him. I mean, because we all know that he's covered by some privileges as a member of parliament, and definitely parliament is going to invoke, you know, those privileges as and when necessary. So I don't see the point in, you know, it's like he's dilly-dallying with the police, you know, hide and seek sort of thing, you know, under the cover that he's on parliamentary assignment and all that. You can't run forever. In any case, I don't believe that the police is going to arrest Sosu in some kind of Rambo style like they would do to any ordinary person, because he's not an ordinary man. He's an asset of the state, and so the state will within its power protect him. So I think that at this point he should just do the honorable thing, just go to the police and ask and give them whatever information they need from him, and then and that. Yes, but quickly before I run up, you see, MPP government, seriously. No, but I'm allowing you. So far,
you've touched on the substantive matter before.
So far, he has not been able to say anything to justify the things that have ensued in the last few months, or even since they took office. You see, he was just beating about the bush, because he kept mentioning out the indicators, but he was scared to even go into the specifics. What are the indicators today? What's your debt to GDP? I mean GDP. What's your public debt today? What's the percentage increase? He didn't want to go into that because I think that he thinks that he will be given too much information.
We are doing better than South Africa.
Right, my goodness. See, even Benin Republic is doing an inflation of 2.3. Can you imagine? Okay. Togo that has nothing. Togo, I have been to Togo before.
Nothing in terms of what?
In terms of resources. You go to Togo, this side of the town is a sea. This side of the town, you just see some tankers as if they are full, you know, bulk storage.
But I mean, well, you will say that when you look at resources in a particular way.
No, but Togo even runs a free port.
That are in there.
Togo even runs a free port.
No, let's stop misinforming the public. That thing that we call free ports is not necessarily free ports.
Okay.
When we say that, we need to explain to the public that there are some what do we call them? Deductions.
So it's
on
not
certain. It's not
discount.
There is nothing like free ports.
Okay.
So if somebody tells you that the person is deceiving you, they don't sit on my set and say that.
Well, I mean, you can correct us and when you think that, you know. But even if it is a discount, is it not better than what we are having in Ghana? And so when it comes to revenue, when it comes to raising revenue, it means that our country is doing far better. Even if we were to take the port alone, it means that Ghana is doing far better. How then do you have Togo doing an inflation rate of 2.3 and you are doing 11%?
So what you mean is that we can do better?
Of course.
Thank you.
I mean, of course, and that's what we expect them to do, and that's why Ghanaians give them the opportunity.
All right.
And we are
the reason why Ghanaians kick you out to bring them in. All right.
When did John Dramani Mahama become a magician in this country? To the extent that he should, you know, give the country to him to run. I'm not too sure whether you are aware of this, story that Mahama said he's not a magician to offer jobs to the teeming youth who were then crying for jobs. You see, sometimes we cannot just sit here and pretend as if we've forgotten. You see, Reggie, myself and you are in Ghana. Before 2020 elections, there was this manifesto from NDC saying it is the People's Manifesto, isn't it? That they went around to seek for various views. When they were going to the IMF in 2015, did they seek our consent? So,
but did you seek our consent?
It's okay. Sometimes the NDC indicated
we are
when they lost. When the NDC lost in 2016, they indicated that they have learned their lessons. And in moving on, they would, re-strategize. So part of their re-strategization was to involve
the public
in especially coming up with their manifesto.
Let me remind them through my good brother here.
The 2022 budget
that
we want
running a country is not
now
like
at the same time
attending ID college.
Okay.
Where you have the chance to go and
attending where?
ID college.
Why? What's up with that?
They started with this remedial classes and all that.
I see.
So the country is not a remedial class.
Okay.
That you can say I made a mistake here, and I want to come back and then do some corrections.
Okay. So I mean,
we are serious.
Francis Xavier has
out of your usual.
I'm here in court again. Many. I mean, just as the paper puts it.
I mean, he has said it. I mean,
you are having a conversation aside me.
No. You are asking me of
yes.
Yes. I said he said it all. I mean, you cannot run away or shield yourself under the constitution of the nation. You see, and today, as we speak, yesterday I was in court. It was a deliberate attempt to understand the reasons and then know some of the, I wanted to know what the court will, say or do. But unfortunately, he didn't come. You see, you must set a certain example for, those of us coming. And as state lawyer, you cannot continue to behave like that. We want to project the country into a certain level, and all these democratization or democratic elements and issues will pop up. Let's all learn from what is happening. At least today, I think it's even beyond the police service. It is the court that has issued an order, a bench warrant. So where are you running to? Unless you want to vacate your position as the MP for the good people of Medina, and then maybe you go to, and even that, it's about crossing borders. So once a court order has been issued, where are you going to run to? Let me just advise him. I think he's a senior brother to do the right thing. Other than that, we cannot continue to, as we behave like the ostriches. I mean, if you want to look into the nitty-gritties of what happened, first of all, he shouldn't have even done that.
Shouldn't have done what?
I mean, the lead up to the reason why the police went.
You mean he shouldn't have joined his people in that demonstration?
Reggie, it's about joining. It's not just about joining. It's about the act.
What act?
Oh,
the act of demonstration.
Vandalizing properties and then destroying.
That's what you said he shouldn't have done.
That's not.
Oh yes.
Are you hold on? Are you establishing that the MP was involved in the vandalizing?
That is the issue the police pressed against him. That you want to go in for demonstrations. These are the laid down criteria and rules. So you must follow. To the extent that as an MP you must know better. So upon all these cautions, you presume that you have enough muscle to outwit the police and then do the unnecessary training, if I may put it that way. Then of course the law and the reasons why today we are here. Bench warrant. I mean, 3 consecutive times including appeal.
Now this is the first time in the series of these events that the court has issued a bench warrant for his arrest. Now remember when that was, I think, the second attempt when the police tried apprehending him at the time when he was preaching in church. Reports came out that the police had no warrant whatsoever to arrest him. So now the warrant has come in. Do you think this should have come earlier, so that then moving on we would have known indeed? Because he's a lawyer, he knows the procedure. He is saying that if you want to arrest me, you should come with a warrant. The speaker is also saying that if you want to pick up one of my members, you should follow a particular procedure. Don't you think that if these things were done earlier, perhaps we would have gotten way ahead of this issue than where we are now?
No, but you can't run and then do things in your own way. I mean, the police has also, they are also within the ambit of the law. They need to do the right thing within,
Yeah, he is a lawyer and a member of parliament. He is also within the ambit of the law.
That is so. So you cannot just issue a warrant. The court did so because he failed to appear to court 3 times. Even if he had appeared and then, as it were, also explain the part of his story, I don't think we have come this way. What I'm saying is that everybody within the nation or under the constitution must have a certain right limit. So the police have theirs, I have mine, and then, but your rights shouldn't exceed that of the constitution and the reasons why we are here. So at least he was given the leeway, he was given the leverage to, as it were, act within the confines of the law, but he didn't do it. Okay. So now it's up to the court to at least deal with him.
This therefore between the security setup and the judiciary and the legislature is not one that I want to talk too much about, because I mean they know what is right.
Certainly, let's sum up on that. There is a following story that I want us to also touch on quickly.
With regards to Sosus?
I mean, yes, about legality and all that. So I'm saying that you should sum up so that we chip in the other factor.
Okay. Earlier you had asked about my advice to the minister and the budget. I mean the event taking place in Parliament today. You see, like you said, you rightly mentioned that it's good to compare yourself to your peers. That's the only way you can know whether you are doing well or not. And you do that by using these parameters, these very indicators we talk about. I think that there's been an extensive, comprehensive research on this electronic levies. In some jurisdictions, they term it as digital services tax.
Yes.
And I am recommending to the government that if it should go back and re-engage. I believe that has been done already, because it's my hope that by end of today we'll have a budget running. And so my sincere, because if you look at our peers, Uganda for instance, Uganda started this tax in May 2018, and it started at 1.0%. Just when it started, and that was even affecting cash in, cash out, and transfers. If you did all that, you'll be taxed. By August 2018, there was a huge public outcry, and so we had to redo it. We had to even reduce it to 0.5, now only on cash out. And that is to suggest to us that the unintended consequences were such that the government of Uganda had to just take a step back, re-engage, extend its consultations, and come back with what is better. And so as I speak with you today, that's what is run. Even that is still under some kind of contention. The people are debating it and all that. And so my advice to the government is that it should just, electronic taxes are bound to happen. They are bound to happen. But I think that the contention at this time has been that the manner in which it is being applied is too draconian. It's too harsh. Right. So we are pleading that if it is possible, if they can reduce it to a bearable minimum, that's fine. But if they think they can and they think they have to maintain it at 1.75, then I think that the minority's position on the matter is what we are going by. Then it is better it is scrubbed off completely. And so that's what we are saying as the opposition party.
Okay. So in the wake of that, the General Secretary for the NPP is asking what the NDC has as an alternative to the 2022 budget. Do you have an alternative?
You see, this is part of the NPP's usual, this is part of their chronic gimmick every time. And many times I've been on set and you hear NPP communicators like, they rattle the same lines. It's become one too many. I have gone through the NPP's manifesto. I have read through. I haven't read word to word, verbatim, but I've taken a glance. You get it? So if you're asking for an alternative, and in any case, after election, who campaigns? There's no impending election. If you want any, I will just keep it simple. If you want to know our alternative, he mentioned about the People's Manifesto. Take the pain and read through. You will see what we are proffering. The solutions we are proffering. You will see the alternative. You don't have to come and be asking. MP communicators are always asking, what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives? I am just recommending to every MPP communicator, go and get a copy. If you don't have, I can spare you mine. Read and you will know.
All right. Evans,
is manifesto a budget statement?
Do you think that they have a
manifesto cannot be a budget statement? In any case, you asked him a simple question, he couldn't answer. That what is the alternative? Indeed, that's what my General Secretary asked.
He says it's in their manifesto.
Now let me inform you. From 2009,
you never heard about the 10 billion big
from 2009 to 2012, before they left power, the minority in Parliament consistently have brought alternatives. In fact, even in 2012 budget, we wrote a similar budget statement and we put it out there for Ghanaians to.
With e-levy?
Yes, no, we didn't have e-levy at the time. I'm talking about 2012.
Okay.
So, whenever we are criticizing or there is a critique, we bring out an alternative. Okay? The NDC has never, in fact, not even once, brought an alternative that, if you throw your budget out, this is how the country must be run based on what we also have. But you see, they single out some. And how can you choke a budget? How can you choke a nation? How can you, curtail revenue mobilization and then, bring about other what do you call it? Other project that needs money, to be completed. Instead of reject the budget and then you bring Keta defense. And you see, another issue is this. We have what we call supplementary budgets. Okay?
Yes.
So this is not even the end of it all. It depends on the vision and the ideas of what the minister or the government wants to do. There are certain things that appear even in the supplementary budget, but not in the main budget. So it's not as if we are done in total and that is it. There are certain things that you need to prioritize and do away first before the other thing comes. And of course, this defense, it is scattered across our coastal belt. From my own constituency, Jomoro, Axim, and all the way to Keta and then its environments. So it's not as if we are trying to put the people of Keta in a box as if we don't care for them.
But what happened to the project, because it was actually ongoing? At a point it was halted. What happened?
I'm telling you,
it was halted when powers switched over. What happened?
No, you see. Now let me tell you this. When former President Mills assumed power, he made a certain pronouncement that all projects must cease. Not because of anything, but he had to assess things very well, understand what was going on before, and you see, the project must not, after all, be his prioritized area. Do you understand?
No, I'm confused.
Okay, so it depends on what the government wants to do.
Still trying to get it.
All right, now let me say it this way. I have about 5 sectors that I have to focus on. Out of the 5, I have major 2. Looking at what I have in terms of money, I cannot do all the 5. So let me concentrate on these 2 so that in the subsequent years, I can do the rest. So every other government, as a priority, have you forgotten that even this year, we declared this year as a year of rules? Didn't we do that?
Yes.
Yes. So it depends on what the government want to do at a certain what point in time.
No,
the reason why today, if you pass through...
You declared this year as a year of more roads.
Yes.
But the previous year of roads, we didn't see roads. So I'm not surprised that in the year of more roads, we are still not seeing roads.
These are the same
but
people
on page 2,
unless you want to pretend that you are not seeing.
Where are the roads, Evans?
No,
have you witnessed the asphalting of asphalt overlay?
Asphalt overlay of the existing. When you say construction is different from overlay. No. I don't want us to go there.
Reggie.
No, Evans, I don't want us to go. Evans, when you say this to the people of Botiano, English, and man from, they'll be very, very unhappy.
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because the roads that they were seeking to be reconstructed. When you say this to the people of Awoshi,
now,
the roads that they were seeking to be reconstructed. Go and see the rocks.
Let me tell you.
Go and see the rocks
First
on their
of all,
roads. It's sad. And every day they have to spend
if a road,
thousands of Ghana
if a road is unmotorable,
not for me.
You can even access a bulldozer. What do you call it? Okay, to grade it. Okay,
who should grade it?
It's part of it, and you see, it's a process. You should do this. The U-drains first. I mean, if you want to save roads, it's not just about asphalting alone. It's not just about. So when we declare this year as a year of roads, the reason why now you can find some workers at the WTB for the second phase of the
this is a contract that has been awarded way back.
I'm telling you,
it's in progression.
It's a year of roads.
Anyways,
even though with all this,
it's okay.
With all this quagmire of the COVID-19 pandemic and all that, we are
ask them about the agenda 111.
You see.
Hold on. It's okay.
Well, he's asking. Let me answer him.
Evans, he's not the one asking the
when you come to my municipal assembly,
it's okay.
It's okay. You know where we jetted the union, market, that place is earmarked. As I'm talking to you now, the drawing is out for the agenda 111. That is my district. I'm telling you what is happening.
If you were in Parliament on Friday, you would have heard the minority leader indicating that the finance minister should indicate how the contracts were awarded and what amounts of money has been awarded and from where the funds were.
And even the timelines.
Hold on. Now, this he indicated this because relax. He indicated this, but unfortunately, it's not even part of the 5, which means that it's not really a priority in those areas. If you say that the plan is out, we are fine. Agenda 111 came up just 2020, yeah.
Yes.
So let's allow some time. But for the year of roads, dear, you started in the previous term.
Oh,
I could bet. I assured the people in my area that the current administration says it was a year of roads.
Yes.
Now sometimes when I'm going home, I have to dodge because they ask me, sir, you said not that
we don't have to.
I believed in that policy.
The facts are
now,
that we are making rules.
Reforms in our legal education. So this is what I want us to, migrate Madina MP's, situation into. This is not something that we have to spend so much time. But speaking about legal reforms in our, reforms in our legal education system, we've had demonstrations, cut-off points that change at some point. The issue about edifices that would train these lawyers amongst things. But His Excellency is saying that if we would train them, there's a sustainable legal education will have as its base the establishment of a regime that will consider the pressing needs of the growing law student population and the expected demands of the generation unborn that will study law. It will be qualitative in its operation, but with a fair and balanced quantitative selection system. And that is what really hurts me. It will be qualitative in its operation, but with a fair and balanced quantitative selection system. So fair and balanced quantitative selection system gave birth to the opening up of the LLB, which we are seeing in a lot of institutions. Hitherto, it would have been just Legon. But now you go to the UPSAs, you go to KNUSTs or wherever, and you can assess your LLB education. But then moving on from there into, the general Ghana School of Law, there we experience the bottleneck and then the issue of fair quantitative selection. Now, do you believe, let me not say believe, what do you think should be done as far as legal education is concerned? I'm not talking about the LLB level because we've seen the array exactly over there. But when it comes to getting to the professional law school, that is where we experience a problem. He has spoken about fair quantitative selection and also ensuring qualitative, measures in there.
Who's saying that? The president?
Yes. Okay. He said that at a forum for legal education in Ghana and Africa or so yesterday at Legon.
Okay. I think that, a lot of arguments have been advanced in respect of this, legal education system. And it's funny how and what our learned friends are doing to themselves. I don't know what the agenda is, and I don't know why there's that attempt to severely curtail or sort of restrict the profession to just a select few. Because if you check the lawyer to citizen ratio, it's not anything good to write home about. I don't have the figures here, but it's not anything encouraging. And so if people have the capacity, if people have the financial muscle, people think that they can go into law, and in cases where they have even gone through the LLB and now seeking to enter the professional law program, why should we be denying them?
Is it really about the financial muscle and the fact that you've gone through the LLB? Sometimes you may have gone through the LLB, come out with a certificate. Now, whatever certificate you come out with from the LLB, I believe there is a cutoff point. But I believe that if you've attained LLB, that necessarily does not mean that you qualify to be trained professionally as a legal practitioner.
In the most recent development, where about 499 students were failed.
Yes.
Where, in essence, they had passed, except that the rules to the exam had been changed.
Yeah, so that is not necessarily about. I'm speaking about the financial muscle bit of it. I'm saying that the fact that I don't agree that you know financial muscle counts in here, because I mean if you're looking at the legal practice system, is that we need, in as much as we need lawyers in the system, we also need good lawyers.
Of course. But the issue is that the other time a friend of mine said to me, a friend that I think should be studying law said to me that the in fact common year law. What I say. So you can have the intelligence, you can pass all exams, but if you don't have the financial muscle to be buying your books and be paying your fees and all that, I mean you will not be able to complete it. So I said that, I didn't say that in silos. I mean in silo, you know, I said that, you know, together with that. And so I think the call has been made. Quite recently, I think I heard former Attorney General Samson Ayeni, MP, also calling for some reforms within the legal system. I mean, a clear case is what happened prior to the election. You saw the number of students that got into. And so what happened this time? And so, like I said, it's like there's an agenda to sort of curtail or restrict the profession to some group of people. And as to why that is the case, I for one, I cannot understand. I don't get it, because we need more lawyers. I understand the situation is even dire. I mean, worse when it comes to even the medical profession too. The other time, my friend was telling me, you know, and I don't know why. This is a country that's a middle income and still developing country, and you need more doctors. You go to hospital.
For the medical people, I understand that they are not able to pass the exams. That is why we don't see them demonstrating and all that, because they know in their heart that they've not passed. Unlike the 499 who believe that they have passed, and so they were demanding their rights.
But even that the medical guys, for instance, that licensure exam or whatever they write, I think that they should be cancelled. It's unnecessary. Somebody goes to med school from 100 to 600, and you use 1 day, 1 hour, 2 hours to determine whether they want to justify their inclusion to either be doctors or to be lawyers. I think that is about time that some of these things were scrapped off, because they might have gone through all the necessary, I mean, the theoretical sessions of the program, the practical sessions, and so really by the time they come out of the level 600, I mean, they are well vexed as far as the human anatomy is concerned, you know, and so I see no reason why we should be denying these people. And in any case, it's contributing to the high rate of unemployment. So a particular case, a clear case, for instance, is this 499 issue. So if these guys had decided not to go on a demonstration, this situation would have been just gone through like that, and nobody would have even spoken about it. And these guys will be home, so hoping and waiting to write the next time. And I understand that anytime you're writing, you have to spend a lot more money to be able to register for your papers and all that and all that. And so it's very backward. And I'm excited that the president, through the Attorney General, for instance, on this 499 issue, instructed that or directed that they should be admitted. These days, COVID even has taught us how to resort to virtual classes. These days, people sit in Ghana and they are doing courses in Aberdeen. People are taking courses in New York. I mean, so what is the excuse for this, that they are not resourced? Is it not funny? Many have also called that, many astute lawyers, very seasoned people have called that we can also open branches of the professional, the Makola, in some of these, you know, schools, so that they can,
for instance,
you know.
All right. That's just by the way.
You know, so I think that we should be moving forward. If not, we'll be moving ourselves back in time. All right. Because the world is running at a fast pace. All right. There's no waiting for anybody.
All right. Thank you. Evans. About legal education.
I just want to make it short and simple. Reggie. I think for me, there are certain areas that you don't dare to open up. And that is a fact.
Okay.
You see, the president on his speech said it will be even more dangerous to bring out lawyers who are not worth it. And the fact must be established. Reggie, if you go to hospital and that you see a surgeon working on you and he's not that qualified, he doesn't have that medical wherewithal to ascertain what is wrong with you.
They'll give you power.
In fact, they even kill. And that is what is happening. If you don't get a quality or a proper lawyer, what happens is that the lawyer will be dilly-dallying with your cases, what you lose is either your property, sometimes you lose your lives, you lose your entire, inheritance. So this is, and you see, it's not only happening in Ghana. You cannot just wake up and say, I want to go and offer a course in Harvard or Oxford. It can't just happen.
No, but even Harvard lawyers lose cases.
No, so, I'm not talking in terms of the lawyers.
So how do you ascertain that?
What I'm saying is that these are top-notch universities. All right. So it can only be a privilege for you to find yourself there. And before you come out from that institution, it is assumed that you have it all when it comes to. So what I'm saying is that
you say you be brief,
even
right?
in the advanced world, there are certain areas that they hold dear.
Right.
And assuming you've passed into the law school, it should take another step for you to be called into the bar, isn't it?
Yes.
So what you are doing is just meticulous. And for me, we need to maintain that standard.
Okay. Well, so Evans has been brief and concise by his promise. According to Mr. Ami here, let's be brief, let's be concise, let's hold dear those traditions that we hold in training people for some of these professional areas. It was Evans here. Thank you very much for coming. Very gathering. Thank you very much for coming as well. Unfortunately, this is where we will draw the curtains on today's show. I'm happy with your contributions and everything. You guys have been sincere on both sides, and we pray that the call you made to Parliament would actually be seen today. So today, we're expecting to hear or experience the aftermath of what happened on Friday. And so when these come up, we'll give you updates as and when Parliament session begins. Mr. Vericaps Gadri speaks for the National Democratic Congress. Mr. Evans here speaks for the New Patriotic Party. My name is Reginald Adi, and from my producers, there is a confirmation, yes, of that beer from Ekumfi. They call it the Cape beer. The Cape beer. So when you go to the markets, Mokola, ask of these, and myself, when I'm done fasting, I'll go and
over the weekend.
We'll meet at the joint
and then have some.
Thank you very much, Evans. Have a lovely day, and whatever you set your mind to do, I pray that as far as it's legally accepted and fair in the eyes of God, His own blessings would fall upon it. Enjoy the rest of our programs here on Adoatv Television. We'll see you tomorrow.